It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. I'm the president of Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can find a link to my work at emailrevealer.com. You can also find a copy of my get a copy of my book, an autographed copy of the book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. All kinds of searches, asset searches and locates and adoption investigations at emailrevealer.com. This show is brought to you by our new sponsor, CartKing.com. That's cart-king.com. Their number is 877-986-7771. And what they do is they build, if you have an idea for a business, you want to go into the shopping mall there with a little coffee kiosk or a flower cart and sell your wares from like in a high trafficked area like the airport or a hospital lobby, CartKing.com is going to put you in business. You tell them what your idea is. They're going to design the cart for you. It could be anything, even one of those carts by the baseball field outdoors, to sell hot dogs and stands from next to the baseball game there. CartKing.com. Go to their website, check it out. Any idea you have, they'll design it for you, they'll build it for you, and they ship it worldwide, anywhere. CartKing.com. Okay. Got a fascinating topic for you here today. Our guest is Dr. Larry O'Hara. And he's from the website, publication here, Notes from the Borderland. And you can find it at borderland.co.uk. A very well done periodical here, with articles and investigations, very well researched, and with footnotes at the end. I'm very impressed with this work. Dr. O'Hara, are you there?
I am, yes.
Can you thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you tell us about yourself? Who is Dr. Larry O'Hara? And tell us a little bit about Notes from the Borderland.
Let's see. In terms of who I am sort of, late 50s. I've been interested in sort of politics for many years. I come probably from the left of the political spectrum, which is probably to the left of your liberals. I've always been interested in examining kind of fringe movements of different sorts. I've got the title doctor because my PhD was on the far right in Britain, the National Front, which I got about nearly 20 years ago. And I suppose I set up the magazine because I became, a lot of people who are interested in things like the security services, certainly in this country, there've been questions about, who was then spying for the Soviet Union in the Cold War and all that kind of stuff. I was never really very interested in that. What I became interested in is the intervention of the special branch in MI5 in the political process to do with political activists. So my interest in politics, my commitment and technical abilities in research then led me to uncover various things like agents provocateurs and how stories in the media aren't what they seem necessarily. So myself and a few friends decided to set up this magazine called Notes from the Borderland, which deliberately doesn't have a political title as such because we welcome sources from everywhere. And the great advantage, it takes a lot of work to produce a magazine, as we do, but the advantage is that we can look at stories that we're interested in and we can pursue stories over many years. In other words, we don't necessarily just give them up because they aren't fashionable. And we cover a broad range of things. Some of them are quite well known, like say we have looked at the death of Princess Diana, but others of them are things that people either won't cover or they won't cover in the inimitable way, I would say, that we cover them. That's an opening statement, if you like.
Now, Notes from the Borderland, is this a printed magazine that I could have delivered through the mail?
Yeah, it is a printed magazine. There's quite a philosophical question which we will cover, which is that there are many ways in which the internet has been quite good in terms of instant accessibility of information. But I'm always struck by this kind of impermanence of the internet. That at any moment, a website can disappear. And there are units of the NSA and GCHQ who are devoted to, disappearing sort of stories and sites. And if you just think about it, from a point of view of an authoritarian regime, if you have your opponents in whatever country in the world it might be, if they just rely on the internet, if you want to deal with them, you just simply shut down the site. Whereas if you're dealing with a printed publication and there are 2,000 of it printed, then you'd have to get each copy of the publication in order to effectively suppress it. And I suppose I am a bit worried by the interconnectedness of the world in which resilience isn't built in. And we think that we do put a lot of effort into our website, and we do put some things on the website we don't put in the magazine. But I'm quite influenced by that book, I think it was by Alan Carr, The Shallows, on how the internet doesn't necessarily encourage people to follow arguments. You're reading something on the internet and then it has a link to something else, or you have a picture of a dancing cat, or a message pings into your email box. So that idea of that, if you've even looked at the website, in order to follow the complex arguments that we put forward, does require concentration, which maybe the internet doesn't necessarily encourage that. So we have a printed magazine and we have the internet, and we believe in having both, philosophically and operationally.
Okay, excellent. Now, and you also have some videos here too on your website as well. Notes from the Borderland.
Yeah, that's right.